Hello everybody, I need to talk to you about the mistake that Disney won't stop making. I'm on my way right now to Dutch Bros to get a drink. I'm gonna get you some tea and we're gonna sit down and talk about this. This is insane. You know that saying that they talk about, those who, I don't know exactly how it goes, but those who forget history are doomed to repeat it. Disney has made these mistakes, remedy the mistakes, and then they're remaking the exact same mistakes. They learned absolutely nothing. I'm going to talk about this. So last night I was watching on Disney Plus. They have this new thing called Disneyland Handcrafted, and if you it's an amazing documentary. It shows them building Disneyland, and when Walt was starting construction, he hired a film crew, and these film crews came. They documented everything. If you don't have Disney Plus, you can also watch it on YouTube, by the way, and I highly recommend it. But they are building Disneyland so fast. It's this breakneck pace. There's no time for analysis paralysis. There's like bam, 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 build. Let's go. And they didn't have any blueprints. Nobody had done what they were trying to do. So they couldn't look to inspiration to other things because they were creating something fresh, new. So we're gonna kind of give them a little bit of leeway for making this mistake because they didn't know better, because there wasn't any blueprint for them to follow. So when they were designing Fantasyland, okay, in 1954, they're building Disneyland, and they started to design Fantasyland and all that. They're building it, getting ready to go. The Imagineers at that time, who were the first Imagineers ever, who had no experience being an Imagineer, they came up with this amazing idea, or so they thought. The idea was, hey, in Fantasyland, let's let the guest, that means you, me, everybody, let them be the main character. So in Snow White, there was no Snow White because you were supposed to be Snow White. In Peter Pan, Walt Disney loved Peter Pan. They made a Peter Pan attraction. There was no Peter Pan because you were supposed to be Peter Pan. And then a couple years later, they opened up Alice in Wonderland. And guess what? No Alice in the attraction. You were supposed to be Alice. But the problem is that people would get off the attraction and they were like, where's Snow White? Where's Peter Pan? Where's Alice in Wonderland? And they're like, well, you're Alice in Wonderland. You're Snow White. People didn't like it. They didn't like it. They didn't want to be in the story. They wanted to meet their favorite characters from the story. And they're like, this is kind of crazy. Disney realized, right, we made a mistake. People want to meet the characters. They want to sit down with them. They want to talk with them. They want to interact with them. They want to see them. So in 1982, Disney shut down Fantasyland, shut it down, and it was closed for 14 months. They reopened it in 1983. And when I say they shut it down, it was completely closed. They redid all the facades in the Fantasyland buildings. They kind of took it away from like a carnival theme to like this European medieval theme. The theming is so good, by the way. And then over 40 plus years, they've hardly tweaked it at all because it's just amazing. But the other thing that they did, why they're doing that, the Disney Imagineers like, hey, this whole concept of let's let them be the main character, create their story, that's not working. Let's get rid of that. And so they put Peter Pan in the ride. They put Snow White in the ride. They put Alice in Wonderland in the ride. And when they reopened it, guess what? People loved it. They're like, oh my gosh, it's Peter Pan in the Peter Pan ride. That's amazing. Oh my gosh, there's Snow White in the Snow White attraction. That's amazing. The only one that doesn't really technically have it is Mr. Toad's, but that's a different story. I'm not even worried about that. Oh my gosh, there's Alice in Wonderland. In Alice in Wonderland, she's amazing. People absolutely loved it. And it's just a winning formula, right? And all that time since 1983, there's been minimal tweaks to Fantasyland because people love it. They love seeing their characters and all this. Now, what happened? This is what happened, is that Disney got the rights to Star Wars, right? They got the rights to Star Wars. And by the time that they're getting ready to pitch Star Wars, they had remember the different generations, Imagineers, the first Imagineers, they were retired, right? Those ones who worked on Disneyland. And then the second generation of Imagineers who studied from those first Imagineers, they're kind of in at this point, they're kind of in the twilight of their career. Or maybe they're done. Is twilight, is that the beginning or end? I don't know. They're at the dawn of their career, right? Dusk. No, dusk. They're at the dusk. I always get dawn and dusk. No, they're kind of getting done. They're going. So they got these new generations of these Imagineers coming in. This is kind of how I imagine this when they got the idea to do Star Wars Land. I imagine the older Imagineers were like, "Oh, this is the play box. This is the best sandbox you've ever had." By the way, we're here at Dutch Bros. Let's go in and get you some tea, and then I'm gonna continue to spill the beans on what happened, and I can document how this is affecting everything, even to like a week ago. It's crazy, guys. It's absolutely insane. Disney just have got to quit repeating history. So let's figure that out. All right, here I am at Dutch Bros. Let me get us a drink and we'll continue on. I got my drink. I got my drink here. I got you a tea. And how many sugars do you want in your tea? 6. That's insane. I'm not gonna be doing that. Okay, now, we're not doing that. We gotta keep, now that we spilled the tea, let's keep going. Whew, I was gonna sit out there and talk. It's too freaking cold. Okay, we spilled the tea. Here's what happened. Disney acquired the rights to Star Wars. And I imagine that the pitch, I just imagine that all the experienced Imagineers were probably like so stoked. Like, we're gonna play in the sandbox of Star Wars. And they're probably sitting around a meeting like, okay, everybody, pitch me your ideas. We're gonna create a Star Wars land. Nothing is off the table. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Mary, what do you think? She's probably like, the speeder bikes from Endor. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, we have them on two tracks. You're racing speeder bikes, amazing. Okay, what about you over there? What do you think, John? John, you want the Death Star trench run? Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, that's great. I love it. What about you, Lisa? Lisa, what are you thinking? You're thinking the Millennium Falcon and the asteroid field? Awesome, I love this. What, Brian? What are you thinking? Bespin? No, Brian, we're not doing Bespin. Quit bringing up Bespin. We're done with Bespin, okay? Well, okay, these are great ideas. Okay, what, Terry? What are you thinking? That you want to ride the Banthas from Tatooine? I love it. It's amazing. What, Brian? No, Bespin. Brian, stop it. Okay, anything else? What are you guys thinking? I love it. Yes, we could do the Mos Eisley Cantina in Tatooine. People are going to love that. It's going to be so much. Brian, what? Bespin, again, no. That's the only thing, I swear, Brian, you bring up Bespin one time, and they're all excited, right? Then what happens? What happened is that Bob Iger saw episode 8, and he loved it, and he's like, this is the best, and they're like, hey, lock the timeline in there. And I think the younger Imagineers came in, and Bob probably put the younger Imagineers on this project, and he's like, hey, let's lock the timeline at that point between 7 and 8. And I think the older Imagineers are probably like, wait, we're not doing the original trilogy? And they're like, no. And the younger Imagineers came in, they're like, and I imagine a pitch meeting like this. Hey guys, I know that I'm kind of newer to the company, but this is the new plan for Star Wars Land. We're gonna create a brand new planet called Batuu. And people are like, wait, is that in the movies? No, it's not in the movies, it's not in the books. All right, and yeah, it's this great thing. And wait. Here's what this is gonna be crazy. We're gonna have it so when people come into the land, they're gonna say things like bright suns, happy moons, light my loins. And people are like, wait, was that in the movie? No, it wasn't in the movie, but it doesn't matter because, wait for it, we're giving the people, the guests, a chance to create their own story. They're gonna be the characters. We don't need the Star Wars characters. We're going to create a very generic looking land that has nothing to do with Star Wars, and we're going to put in new traditions that have nothing to do with Star Wars so people can feel like they're in the Star Wars universe. It's going to be amazing. What, Brian? No, Bespin. I swear, Brian, I swear, one more. We're not doing Bespin. And this was the idea. And so Disney Imagineers, they went with it. They built Batuu, which is not in Star Wars that I knew of, and they had these greetings of like bright suns and light your loin, and I don't even know what they're talking about. And when I went to Batuu the very first time, the very first day there, I was so excited, but then I was like, where are we? Is this Tatooine? Is this supposed to be the moon of Endor? What, we're on, where are we? I did not understand it at all. And then the people, and then all of a sudden I saw some girl that was like a spy that I didn't know. I haven't seen her in any movies. She had like blue hair and like a orange jacket, and she's like slinking around pretending to be a spy. And I'm like, who's that? And I'm like, where's Darth Vader? They're like, there is no Darth Vader. Why not? They're like, well, he's dead. What about Luke and all that? They're gone. You'll never see them. What? Okay. All right. Okay. I guess that's what we're doing now. And that's what happened. It wasn't a success. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think people were kind of like, what? I don't understand this. All they wanted was to see Darth Vader. The exact same problem that Disney did, the excusable problem in 1954 when they're creating the rides of Fantasyland and all that, they didn't have a blueprint. But they realized, okay, you know what? People want to interact with their favorite characters. They want to be part of the story. They don't want to be the story. They just want to be part of it. They want to interact with it. And so they remedied that in 1983 when they reopened Fantasyland. And then Disney has redone the exact same problem. The exact same problem in Batuu. They're like, we don't need any characters. You're the character. You create your own story. And now all of a sudden, Disney started making some announcements that of what's going to happen. Now, I have to get back to my office to keep filming this because I got to plot course this for you because it gets crazy. Back at home. So now we need to talk about, I want to show you all these little dotted points of time that have happened, this timeline of Star Wars, the regional characters coming back to Batuu. And I also think that's part of the problem with Star Wars Land is even the naming convention is weird. People don't know what to call it. Do you call it Galaxy's Edge? Do you call it Batuu? Do you call it Star Wars Land? And I don't know what's going on. But here's what happened. On January 14th, this is a little timeline, January 14th of 2026, it was officially announced that the original characters are coming to Star Wars Land. Han Solo, Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker. This is a big, big deal. They didn't announce Lando Calrissian. I'm assuming he's got to be coming back because I love Lando. He's probably my favorite character. And so, but they're announcing, they're bringing them back. And they're going to be like, oh, and Darth Vader? Darth freaking Vader is coming back, which is what we always have wanted. Everybody's wanted this. And they said, this is important, they said that those original trilogy characters are going to be hanging around Smuggler's Run by the Millennium Falcon. That's going to be the area. Then they have the area where Rey is. Rey will still be down there. Then they have the other area by that ship, and that's going to be, that they're going to turn that into just like a First Order area. And it's going to be awesome. So I think that's where Darth Vader will actually be hanging out, is down that First Order area, and the original Stormtroopers will be hanging out in that area. So they all have their own little areas. And I think the bazaar area, where the shops are, that's where I think like Grogu and the Mandalorian will be hanging out. I don't even care. Like, does it bother me that? No, I'm just excited to do this. I feel like Disney has realized, like, hey, you know what? We tried this experiment in the 50s, and it didn't work in Fantasyland. They remedied the situation in the 80s. They did a complete overhaul of Fantasyland and said, hey, now you get to see your characters, go for it. And everybody's loved it. And I think Disney's now doing the exact same thing. On January 14th, they said, hey, you're now going to be able to see your characters. And this is happening on April 29th of 2026. But we have a lot to talk about. Okay, I think this is a very new development. And I'll show you why. On August 10th of 2024, 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, Josh DeMauro at D23 announced that Smuggler's Run is going to have a new, a new mission to go on, a new mission. And so they're like, this was like almost a year and a half ago that they're announcing that Smuggler's Run, new mission. Then on March 8th of 2025, last year, they made that announcement that says, hey, this is going to open up, the new Mandalorian Smuggler's Run adventure is going to open up on May 22nd of this year. And guess what? The engineer in the thing, they get to choose a destination, and one of the buttons, you click on it, it could take you to Bespin. So congratulations, Brian, you finally got Bespin in there. But anyways, let's go back here to January of this year, January 4th to the 14th of this year. There were all kinds of rumors that Kathleen Kennedy was stepping down or being replaced. And like everybody was making these rumors. Everybody but Disney. Other news places, I mean, like CNN, I mean, like other places where the word was on the street, Kathleen Kennedy was stepping down. And but it was not confirmed by Disney. Then again, on January 14th of this year, they made this huge announcement that the original characters are coming back. The very next day, January 15th, Disney made the announcement that Kathleen Kennedy, she's taking on a new role. And Dave Filoni and Lin-Win Brennan, they are going to be running they're creative and the business of like Lucasfilm. And they're taking all this huge area. It is suspect to me that the day before, all of a sudden the original trilogy came in, and then they made this announcement that Dave Filoni is going to be there because he's a Star Wars guy through and through. He worked with George Lucas. He loves the properties. He understands what fans like. And then the weeks before this announcement, the rumors were swirling that Kathleen Kennedy was leaving. So here's what I think happened. I think that they knew that Dave Filoni was going to be going in there, and I think I think he was like, hey, you guys, we're changing this. Dave Filoni and Dave and Lin-Win, I think they're aware of the fans were kind of disgruntled with Batuu. And so they said that one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to change it back to the original, have all the characters walking around. This is a big deal. And so they said, we're going to make that announcement. They made that announcement, and the very next day, they announced that Dave Filoni and Lin-Win are going to be there, kind of running and co-heading this Lucasfilm. It's really awesome. I think this was a new thing because on this is important, May 22nd of this year, that's when The Mandalorian is supposed to be opening. But they just announced a couple days ago that the Millennium Falcon, that's going to be Han Solo's area, but now they're going to have the Mandalorian ride there, kind of going through that. I think that they weren't expecting to ever bring these original trilogy characters in there when they made those original announcements in 2024, 2025. And I think when Dave and Lin-Win are coming in here, they want the original characters, and they're like, we're placing them in there. And I think that they just was like, people don't care. Give them what they want. And they are literally doing what happened in Fantasyland in 1982 when they shut it down and they rethemed Fantasyland. And it has been one of the most beloved lands ever since then. Once it opened up in 1983, people have not complained about You don't see people complaining about Fantasyland. They love it. They love the attractions. They love seeing their characters. And I think that this is what's happening in Batuu, is that they're kind of doing a soft relaunch of Batuu. I hope that they just get rid of the whole Batuu stuff and just call it Star Wars Land. That's what everybody calls it anyways. So just call it Star Wars Land. You go there for Star Wars. Star Wars. We cannot get enough of Star Wars. We will drink out of a fire hose, shooting Star Wars at us, and we love it. We love it. So let's go to Star Wars Land, see the original characters, and just have a good time. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe in a couple of years, they might start retheming it to be more Star Wars-esque and get rid of this whole, like, you're creating your own story on a new planet called Batuu that you've never heard of, bright suns, light my loins, and all that stuff. And they're getting rid of that. I hope it's going to be gone. But Disney has this thing where if they had just looked back at their history, if the new Imagineers and the creatives and the executives, if they would have taken the time and looked at their history and saw what the original Imagineers did and where they failed, they maybe could have maybe this problem never would have existed. Maybe it would have been Star Wars Land right off the bat. They would have had characters and Ewoks walking around and droids and they would have done all that. It says, you know what? We did that before in the past where we took all the characters out and tried to make the guest be the main character. The guests didn't want that. And maybe they would have realized we don't want to do that. And if they would have remembered the past, we could have maybe not had any of these problems. It sounds like to me they're course correcting. They're doing exactly what happened to Fantasyland. Now they're doing it with Batuu. I don't know. Put it down in your comments down below. This is a big deal to me. I think this is a big deal. And never, ever, you guys, come on. Never, ever, 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 ever order 6 sugars and tea. That's insane. I will never, ever do that for you guys. That's no good. All right, if you haven't, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We got a lot more videos coming out. Next week's gonna be Disneyland videos. And I need to talk to you just for a quick little moment. So let me talk to you. I know that someone right now who's watching this video, I am talking to just you right now. I want you to know that you are amazing. You might be struggling right now. You might be feeling like you have a little bit of depression, or you feel overworked or underappreciated at work, you might be struggling in a relationship, I want you to know that you matter. You make the world better. And I am talking to just you right now. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Hit the like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, Disney, don't forget your history. Let's not repeat it again. Let's just create great stories with great characters and having fun and all that stuff. Disney, you do what you do best. Don't look at your history, all the mistakes you made. Just don't remake those same mistakes. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. Oh, Disney made a mistake, and then they remedied it, and then Disney made another mistake, and it sounds like they're remedying it, and it's gonna be amazing. Brian, stop it with the Batuu. Listen, Brian, enough. Get out of the shot, Brian. Get out of the shot. Stop talking. All right, hey, to our Patreons, thank you so much. We couldn't do this videos without your support. You're absolutely amazing. And if you want to become a patron, click the link down below. You get amazing, cool content just for you.